Okay, I want to thank all of you for being here. The first thing I want to do is thank those of you in the media personally and on behalf of the Anthony family for backing off, for giving them space that they need to start beginning to cope with everything that's happened in the last 6 months. So thank you very much. Those of you that have done it voluntarily know who you are, and those who haven't know who you are as well. So I appreciate that. The main topic is, of course, Tuesday, February 10th, 10 a.m., is Caylee's memorial service. Doors are reportedly open at 9 a.m. I think we're going to have to probably change that, and we'll talk to the church about that as soon as possible. I don't know if we're going to be able to accommodate as many people that will show up and get them into the church by the start time of 10 o'clock. So that may change. Right now it's set for 9 o'clock. Probably we'll move that up to 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Security will be tight. I don't want anybody disrupting this little girl's service. That's the most important thing that I've got to emphasize. She deserves dignity and respect, and she's going to get it. So there will be metal detectors, no cameras, no cell phones, no backpacks, pocketbooks, or camcorders of any type. I don't have details on the service. That's something that you'll have to come and show up and see. There will be a video pool as well as still photography pool. Go ahead, let me take some questions.
Why the need for such a heavy security?
So there are no disruptions. There are actual security threats. People have threatened the Anthonys.
Recently?
Yes. But otherwise, I just don't want anybody using this as their soapbox to spout their views on the case itself. This is about Caylee Anthony and nothing else.
Who will be allowed in, and how are you going to keep them out?
If somebody does start to try to use this as a soapbox for their views, whatever, then what will happen?
They'll be out before they can finish.
Who won't be allowed in, and how are you going to make sure that they are recognized and not let in?
I'm not going to give a list out right now. The people that aren't welcome, most of them know who they are. The ones that don't, the security team for the church and for the Anthonys will know, and they will respectfully be turned away.
Do we know yet?
Caylee's remains in there?
No, her remains will not be there. And they are not at the Anthony home. They are still safe and sound at the funeral home.
At some point, will there be plans for a burial? Can you tell us anything about that?
We haven't crossed that bridge yet.
What about a private memorial? Have they started planning that yet?
That's something that says a lot about the Anthony family. They have not. They've talked about some details, but they've spent most of it on the public service, which says a lot about them as a family. They want to give thanks to everybody that's helped them out and shown support.
George, Cindy, and Lee will be at the service?
Yes.
Will they speak?
Probably not. I don't know the answer to that definitively, but probably not.
What about Pastor Shane? Is he going to be presiding over this service?
I don't know. Yeah, Cindy hasn't told me. So I'm as much in the dark as you guys are on that, and I kind of like being there.
You said there's some generous and caring people willing to give some money to make this really nice and make sure that
Yeah, sure. There are anonymous donors in this community, outside of this community, that want to make sure that Caylee Anthony is given the type of service she deserves. And they are making sure that no costs are left to the Anthonys, as well as to the taxpayers of Orange County.
You talked a lot about closure, Brad. Do you think that this public memorial will help bring some sort of sense of closure to the Anthonys as well as the community?
It's the beginning. It's the beginning of it, and sharing this with the community is part of the healing process for everybody, not just the Anthonys, but Orange County citizens. We get emails from Alaska. I get an email from Belgium. So this is not just a Central Florida thing. This is a nationwide and worldwide phenomenon, and people, I think, their hearts, regardless of what they think about the case, their hearts go out to Caylee.
Brad, what about Casey? I have two questions. The first one is, do you know if she'll be able to do the service? And the second one is, has any visit been arranged yet between Casey and Caylee?
Casey will not be allowed to go to the service. She would have to be furloughed from the Orange County Jail in order to do that, so she won't be able to do that.
Will she be able to watch it?
I hope that she will be able to, but we don't know.
Will you make a request?
I won't. That's not my place. That is Mr. Baez's responsibility, and I would think that he will do that, but I don't know.
Does the defense still have possession of Caylee's remains?
Her remains are still at the funeral home, and they have given the clear, as is the state, to go ahead and to have the service and to bury her and do what they need to do.
So they're done. Cindy and George are now in control of what happens from here on out.
They do not have her remains. They're still at the funeral home, but the state and the defense are both done doing the examinations that they need to do.
How is George since he's been out of the hospital?
George is a lot better, and one of the things that we discussed today was he wanted to thank everybody that's sent cards, prayers, and shown their compassion for him and his family. So George would like people to know about that, and I'm sure when he is able to talk about this, he'll have his own thanks.
There had been some talk about trying to arrange a video visitation between George and Cindy and Casey, something that would not be recorded by the sheriff's office. Has there been any official request on your behalf? What do you plan to make such a request?
We haven't done that yet. Been so busy trying to get this accomplished and getting George home and safe that I have not made that request yet. And I will now that I know he's home and he's able to do it, I'll make that request soon.
Do you think that will be a tough sell for corrections officials and even perhaps for Mr. Baez to allow that to happen?
It's kind of a hard question to answer. There is a lot of compassion for this family. It's not unreasonable to ask for no videotape because not every conversation is videotaped in the jail.
But it would be monitored by the sheriff's office.
It would be, yeah. We're not asking for a private visitation. That's not reasonable, and we won't ask for something that's unreasonable.
What about the depositions that Morgan and Morgan have asked for videotapes because the ladies can come in, bring cameras, the whole 9 yards? What's your take on all that?
I think that's what you call a circus. A circus has no business in a legal proceeding, just absolutely none. I think it's offensive that a member of the Florida bar would invite the media to a deposition. And I understand that depositions are public record. I've been doing this for 17 years, so I don't need any suggestions from Mr. Morgan in terms of how to handle my clients, and I understand what public record is, but I don't understand how a lawyer would invite the media to view depositions. There's personal information revealed in a deposition, and that's not appropriate for the public arena. And typically a lawyer, when that type of information is revealed in a deposition, lawyer can go back and ask the judge to hold that information or seal that in all or in part for the appropriate time period.
How are you going to stop this from happening?
I'm not going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to reveal what I need to do as a lawyer, but it'll come out. You'll know when it happens.
We've learned that a motion was filed today to actually have that civil lawsuit thrown out. Your reaction to that?
Good. I'm glad it's finally been done. I know that the attorney for Casey Anthony has worked hard on that, and I'm looking forward to that argument in court.
Can you explain, there's some legal issues being discussed by a lot of people, whether George and Cindy refuse to answer certain questions that might impose on the criminal case, whether they have the right to do that or not, given the privilege between parents and daughter. Can you talk about that? Like, is that going to be a tough point? And then some people suggested we do the depositions before the trial would seal them, but that would sort of defeat the purpose of hearing from the publicly. Can you talk about these legal issues?
Sure. The Anthonys will answer and appear at deposition as required by the court. They're not going to refuse to answer anything inappropriate. I will be there. And if there's an inappropriate question asked, I will object, place my objection on the record, and then certify that question to the court. And then the court will determine whether they need to answer that or not. But they will do what they're legally required to do.
Brad, there was a question